Hello, welcome to the Citrus Garden. If you're new here, my name is Christina. If you're not new here, hi, welcome back. It's great to see you. This is a pick a card reading. Normally I pick an overall theme for these readings, but for today, just keeping it simple, just doing general readings, and I only have 2 groups for this one. I was planning on doing 3, but the guidance was just to stop at 2. So 2 readings. The first group, we have the Passion card. And for group 2, we have Movement. So group 1 and group 2, the timestamps are in the description box below. All right, group 1, let's get started with your reading. So we're starting here at the Passion card. The Passion card, which is really interesting. And then at the bottom of the deck, you have Determination. And under that, you have Peace and Strength. Okay. Determination, peace, and strength. So this Passion card was coming through as being sort of like an energy here of like something that you're wanting to create. I'm just going to put it generally in terms of like creativity, something that you're passionate about. So it could be a relationship as well, or like a particular person, or whatever this is for you. Something that you're passionate about that gets you excited, or that like you want to move towards, or like something that you're wanting to complete or create, or however that resonates for you. There's a determined energy about that. So which I'm so glad to see with the strength and the peace. So there's a lot of determination. But it's kind of like this reading is giving me like a really nervous kind of feeling, like somebody, especially if it's like a relationship, like perhaps there's kind of like a nervousness about this. With the bottom of the deck for this one, you have here the rabbit and the fire ants coming out underneath that. So this is talking to me about something like, it feels very specific for somebody. Just give me a moment to like collect myself. So the fire ant to me talks about, it came out in yesterday's collective reading. It could have something to do with that. But today it's more so coming through as being sort of like a wound that has yet to be healed. Or it could also be just coming through as being sort of like an energy leak is how that's feeling to me today, actually. Like some sort of energy leak that perhaps is like perhaps causing anxiety here with the rabbit. And this is sort of coming in with this sort of like nervous energy. But it's like there's because it could be something like because this card talks about like worrying about something, right? Like worrying about a potentially negative outcome. And it's like the more that you worry about it, the more likely that manifestation comes true, right? So it's kind of like there's an energy here of like trying to refocus your energy so that it's not focused on the worry. If I know that's such a difficult thing to do as someone who has struggled with anxiety, like trying to stop yourself from thinking anxious thoughts is almost like an impossible task at times. And so like the more you get practice with that, I feel like that it's kind of coming, like it feels like just getting practice with practicing peace is kind of how that's coming through. Like how to practice peace. So meditation certainly helps. I find especially if you're in like the rabbit energy, having something to focus on is like, rather than doing meditation, because meditation is kind of like someone who has an anxious mind. Meditation is almost like it's not the right tool is how that comes through. Like it's almost like you have to find something to focus on, like creating something, like doing some sort of craft that requires all of your attention so that your brain almost doesn't have enough energy to think about anything else besides what it is you're focused on. So having a really intensive, like, mind-based task to focus on can help with that. And then using that as sort of like a way to get into meditation, if that makes sense. So anyways, I don't know if that was for somebody. But you have here the heart at the bottom of the tea leaves, which has love, deep affection, and caring. And I feel like that's coming through with the passion card, because of course, passion can be so much, but I feel like there's an energy here that's like tying these two energies together of like what you're passionate about and what you care about being sort of the same thing. Anyways, so but the first two cards out you have here the Eight of Swords, which is coming through with this energy here with the rabbit and this sort of like nervous energy that I'm feeling. It kind of feels like because what's coming out underneath the Eight of Swords is the Dolphin card, which talks about somebody who has the potential to like change a situation. They bring blessings. They're a healing energy. But because of that, it kind of feels like there's somebody here, especially when the dolphin's in reverse. It comes through as being like somebody who underestimates their own power or their own gifts or their own ability to make someone smile or like to help, whatever, bring healing to a situation or whatever it is. So it could be that there's somebody here who's feeling kind of like underestimating their own ability to change a situation or to help a situation, or like whatever it is that their gift is, whatever it is that they're gifted at. It could actually be like something that they're creating, that they're doing, or something like that. So it kind of feels like that this is the energy that is needing a shift, like, but I feel like because there's a determination here, it's like this is being worked through, is how it's coming through. And it's the thing about the Eight of Swords, anything that is mind-based or like swords energy. I was telling this to a friend like a couple months ago. She's like very much like into like fitness and health and all that, which takes like a lot of practice, a lot of determination, a lot of commitment, a lot of dedication, and all of that kind of energy. So she's really good at that part. But she was asking me about like, like certain mindsets that she has, like anxieties that she has, and things like that. And I was telling her that like anxiety is kind of like being mentally not fit, right? Like it's kind of like it takes practice and determination to be in a peaceful mindset, is how that's coming through, where it's kind of like you need to practice at it. You need to put in time at the gym, right? Like that kind of energy, but in terms of like how you're thinking, controlling how you think, what you think about, your mindset. And it's kind of like something here about like your ability to give to a situation maybe, or like what it is that you're gifted at. Anyway, I'm spending so much time on these two cards. So the next couple of cards you have here, the Owl, which says good advice from a wise person. And underneath that you have the Death card and the Moon, which is just like, this is tough energy. Death card and the Moon. So the Death card talks about like getting closure about a situation or moving past something, especially because it's coming through with the Eight of Swords. So I'm seeing this as actually being sort of like a positive transition, where it's like there's someone who's moving through some sort of like mental, perhaps like transformation, perhaps like receiving good advice from somebody. in order to change this Eight of Swords energy. It's coming out underneath here with the moon as well as being well, whenever I see this card, like I've been feeling so connected to the moon just recently. Today the moon is in Capricorn, right? So, and the moon shifts signs every couple of days. So like ish. And so it's kind of like paying attention to how your energy or how your mood shifts depending on what sign the moon is. That could be helpful. And it's also coming through because the moon affects the tides, affects water, affects emotions. And I feel like there's something here about like paying attention to that as well. Maybe when the moon is in Scorpio, there's some sort of interesting energy that happens there. That was a couple days ago. So maybe there was some sort of like revelation or something like that that came through, or like understanding or something like that. The moon in Scorpio is a tough energy because it's all about like creating change, especially with the energies that are coming through here, because you have here the egg, which says success is assured. Sorry, I know it's hard to see here. Success assured with good plans and hard work. And it's coming out here with the Four of Cups, and underneath that, the Two of Pentacles. So the Four of Cups talks about like feeling dissatisfied with what you have or what's around you. It's also kind of coming through as being sort of like, because when I saw this card, I was thinking of like, so when I was young, I think like somebody told me once that like you should always clean the top of your like pop can because like sometimes rats like will poop on them, and that was like something that like I wish I just never heard, because it made me like paranoid after. Like it's coming through kind of like with that energy, especially with it's like kind of like a thought based, like somebody told you something once that you wish you'd never heard because it affected you more than you could have anticipated. Like that, it's that kind of energy. That's a silly example. That's a really silly example of like something where it's like perhaps there was a mindset or like somebody told you something that like changed how you thought of something, but in a way that made you unhappy or unsatisfied or discontent, or like it quote unquote ruined an experience for you or ruined something for you, or just like changed how you see things, is how that's feeling. But with this egg card, how I'm also seeing this combination is kind of like, you know, like the shell game where like there's like a shell hidden under one of the cups, and then they mix around all the cups and you have to find where the shell is, right? So it's kind of like there's something here about that of perhaps there's a lot of, because it's coming through with cups and all of the watery energies here, like something that's making you discontent in some way or unsatisfied with what you have, perhaps because somebody else told you something, or there's like other energies that are coming, like other energies that have been given to you by somebody else. It doesn't really matter. I feel like it's more so talking about like having to sort through all that, like sort through and find the gem here. It's almost coming through as being like simplifying something, right? Like forgetting something that you were told from the past, because here with the Two of Pentacles, because this is the butterfly, right? This is the butterfly with the wings open. The Two of Pentacles as well also talks about like balancing things, right? Like balancing two energies. But this one I always see as being sort of like the balance has been restored is how I see this, especially because it's coming out underneath this, where it's like if you remove something, whatever that is for you, a mindset, an emotional state, something like that, it restores the balance because it's more simple, right? It's like the energy flows again, balance is restored, the wings open up, and you have the next card is the butterfly, which says a change for the better. So much butterfly imagery, like some sort of transformation, but I feel like it's just a matter of like opening up or letting go of something else, whatever that is, letting go of the discontent or letting go of the anxiety. I know that saying that, it's like somebody who has anxiety is going to be like, I don't know how to let go of anxiety, which I know, I understand. It takes practice. Okay, but anyways, the next couple of cards, I feel like there's something else here with the Two of Pentacles, but I can't. If it comes through, I'll bring it back. But, so, the candle. It says, you will be shown the way, the candle. And with the crow here, you have, this card is talking about resourcefulness and intuition, because I feel like, so intuition, of course, with the crow as well, like psychic gifts, or like the crow also brings in sort of like intelligence, resourcefulness, like being able to work with what you have, because crows are very creative creatures as well. Like they can use tools, right? Like they can, if there's a problem to be solved, they will use tools around, like in their environment, in order to like get the solution. It's kind of like this energy here with the candle of like, if there is some sort of problem that you're working on or trying to solve, it's like the tool that you need to solve a particular problem will be handed to you, or that you will be shown the way to that thing. Right? It's kind of like you will be shown the way to reach that, the thing that you need to solve the problem, or something like that. But it takes like trusting your intuitive guidance. And I feel like part of that here is with the Ten of Cups, because this is coming out underneath the crow, where it's like, I don't want to say like doing what makes you happy, because I feel like that's such a like it's not a cliche, but sort of it is, but it's more so talking about like I'm gonna say it, doing what makes you happy, or just like following like what brings you joy, or like what you feel in the moment, especially with the moon, right? Like, so much about intuition is based on feeling, based on emotion, where it's kind of, or just like, you know how things, especially with the crow, like a shiny object, right? But we're talking about energy, so not literally shiny, but it lights up for you intuitively, right? It's like, oh, that's catching my attention for whatever reason. And following that, I feel like it feels as simple as that. Like, but anyways, okay, so there's something there about that. Are you creating something? Or is it just like you're trying to move towards something? Because I'm not actually seeing, well, maybe. Actually, yeah, what's coming out next, so you have here the Father of Cups. The Father of Cups, which is bringing more of this intuition. This is sort of like the, because it's coming through as the father, masculine energy, somebody who's very in control of their emotions. But it was interesting, this card comes in, so it also does come in with this energy of like a patron of the arts, like somebody who's very creative, or like supports creative endeavors. But there's an energy here of like somebody with, who has, who feels insecure about something, which is interesting because what I'm seeing underneath here is the 9 of Pentacles. So I'm seeing this as being a very solid foundation where it's like this person has a very solid foundation with the 9 of Pentacles, right? It's the 9. I'm also kind of seeing this as being like, you know, when like a really tall building is being built and like you have to dig into the ground and put like the concrete pillars. Like I'm seeing this as being sort of like 9 concrete pillars that are like really, really grounded in the earth. That's how I'm seeing this. But it's so like the foundation has been laid, but it feels like because with all the feathers around it, it's still covered up, or it's still like it hasn't been revealed yet. Or there's something here about like someone here who is, I don't want to use the word insecure because that doesn't feel quite right, but it's more so like, well, the next card coming out is the 2 of Swords, at a stalemate. And not being able to make a decision about something. Which is interesting. It's like, well, maybe it's like maybe they don't know what they want to build yet. Maybe there's someone, like, they laid a foundation for something, but maybe it's like thinking too far ahead, especially with the rabbit and anxiety. That could be thinking way too far ahead. It's kind of like you just have to solve whatever's right in front of you at the moment. Okay. Anyways, the last tea leaf card you have is the Tower, which says solid foundation, success with effort. So you have 2 cards that say success with hard work, right? Like there is hard work ahead. I feel like there's something here about like, so you have a solid foundation, or whoever this reading is for, there's a solid foundation here with the 9 of Pentacles. I'm seeing that as being the foundation that's already like, the pillars are in place. You're ready to build on whatever this land is. But this card was coming through as being like, like the Leaning Tower of Pisa, which is, now it's not focusing. The Leaning Tower of Pisa, which is, it leans, right? It's like not completely straight. I feel like there's something here about like somebody's definition of success, it needs to change, is how it's coming through, especially with like thinking too far ahead of like having a lot of perhaps like high expectations for something, which is fine to have. I think it's fine to have high expectations, but I feel like that's part of this energy with the Father of Cups of like there needs to be flexibility within the plans, is how it's coming through, because I feel like the definition of success is going to change, is how that's feeling to me. Like, because for the Leaning Tower of Pisa, you know, for a building, you would want, the expectation would be is that you would want it to be a freestanding building that stands straight, right? That's sort of like an expectation that you would have for success. However, the Leaning Tower of Pisa has a different level of success as being sort of like a landmark, right? Like a tourist attraction, almost like an impossible feat of engineering where it's kind of just like, it's famous for different reasons than what you would expect, right? It's kind of coming through in this energy of like, there may be somebody who is at a stalemate because they're trying to achieve some sort of expectation for their plan or for their creative endeavor or something like that, that is not actually something that is, I don't want to say that it's not supposed to be that, right? But it's kind of like you would be missing out on the wonder that is the Leaning Tower when it's like somebody here who really wants to build something that's like not leaning, if that makes sense. So it's kind of coming through as being sort of like, let go of the expectation of what that is, because I feel like that's putting a stalemate on a situation of like somebody who has a certain expectation on like how things are turning out or like what success means to them, when it's kind of just like, it's like, it is going to be successful. I just feel like the way in which that the success is achieved is unexpected. It's not something that can be predicted, but it's like this reading is making me laugh, which is kind of like, which is funny because it started off with such a nervous, like tense kind of energy where I feel like it's shifting. Anyways, the last card out here you have is the Daughter of Pentacles, where I feel like this is the unexpected blessing, because there is a rainbow here. This Daughter of Pentacles is such a sweet energy. It talks about like somebody who is very hardworking and is working behind the scenes, like likes to be behind the scenes doing some sort of work. It was also kind of coming through with this energy of like somebody who prefers to be behind the scenes on something, right? Like it's kind of like, especially with the Father of Cups, where it's like somebody who would prefer to just do their work quietly without it being sort of like for example, like Apple computers, right? Like Steve Jobs is more of the charismatic, and then Steve Wozniak was like the one who came up with most of I don't want to say it like that, who is sort of like the mastermind, if you want to call it like that. So there's kind of like this dynamic here of like somebody who has the Page of Pentacles as being sort of like the one who's focused on actually the work or the product or the building aspect. And then there's this aspect here where I feel like there's someone who's focused on, or like perhaps there's an insecurity about the presentation aspect, so to speak, metaphorically, if that makes sense. Whereas like the work is solid, but there may be an insecurity about like the presentation of it or the charisma of it, or like the the showiness of it. That might be sort of like causing a stalemate. It's like somebody who knows that their work is solid but feels doubt or worry about like how it will be received. And it's kind of just like let go of the expectation. I feel like it's kind of let go of the expectation. I feel like there is success here. It's just a matter of perhaps reframing what success means to you. That's a very Capricornian energy as well. So I'm going to leave it there. That was way too long. But if that resonated with you, please like, subscribe, or leave a comment down below. It helps so much. Thank you for sharing your energy with me, and I hope you have a great night. Bye. Hi, Group 2. Let's get started with your reading. So the first card you have out here is the movement card, and at the bottom of the deck, you have mystery. And the way that, like, when I put the cards down, when I put this deck down, this love card, like, sort of wanted to show itself, and in between was reflection and disruption. So I feel like this reading is a love reading, because you do have the heart, the golden egg card coming out here, but it's kind of like there's stuff in between is how that's coming through. Like I feel like it is about love, or like that's the focus of this reading, but it's kind of like right now there's some sort of mystery element coming through, a disruption, like a some sort of like unexpected, or the what I was seeing with this mystery card was like, okay, so first of all, the song Daughters was coming through by John Mayer. Specifically, like the line about like someone who's like a maze where the walls are continually changing. So that's what I was seeing here with the mystery, right? So it's like trying to figure out how to get through a maze, but the walls are continually changing. So there's kind of like it's hard to navigate, right? But you do have the movement card. It's like moving through a maze even when the walls are changing. There's something here about like, so it could be a father-daughter relationship, just because that's how what the cards are showing me. It doesn't have to be, though. It could be just any two energies that perhaps have that sort of dynamic, at least in the energy that I'm seeing here. Or like it could just be someone who's younger, someone who's older, someone with more experience, or whatever. However that relates to you. It kind of just feels like, though, there's like a fogginess about this energy, especially with the mystery card, like trying to move forward with something, or like trying to like move through some sort of tricky energy, and it's kind of like having to navigate through a space where the walls are always changing, right? Like it's like the path is changing. It is coming through kind of with like an energy of like a shapeshifter kind of energy, like somebody who is maybe going through some sort of like transformation in terms of their I don't know, some sort of transformation, whatever that is. Could be the environment that's changing too, though. But anyways, what you have here is the Judgment card. The Judgment card at the bottom of the deck, and then underneath that, the Four of Swords. Because I actually feel like, and the reason why I'm bringing the Four of Swords is because this one says hammock. Taking a vacation physically or mentally. That might actually be the guidance, is how it's coming through, where it's like something's shifting, right? Like there's some sort of shift here, a disruption, this mystery element, and it's almost like the guidance might be just to like take a rest, because this card talks about like taking a rest, gathering your strength in preparation of some sort of difficult task up ahead. So I feel like that's sort of what's coming through here, where it's like my dog barking downstairs, where it could be something like, especially, okay, so anyways, I'm just going to get into the reading. This card was coming through with an energy of forgiveness today, which it normally doesn't do, but I feel like it's coming through as being sort of like, moving past some sort of hurt or pain. Okay, anyways, that's the overall context. So that could be the movement, right? Like moving past some sort of hurt or pain. Okay, the Finger card, which says warning you of a problem either now or in the near future. And that came out with the Nest, which says an emotionally secure, loving family is important to you. So it came out like this. And this Nest energy is emphasizing this sort of like hammock and like the Four of Swords of like taking a rest or taking a time out, because there's potentially some sort of problem up ahead, or like some sort of shifting unknown is how it's coming through. A shifting unknown. But anyways, the first two cards out here are the Daughter of Swords and the King of Swords, the Father of Swords. So this is why I'm saying that, especially because the song Daughters came in, this might be a dynamic between a father-daughter, but it doesn't have to be. Just take it how it resonates. But I do feel like there are two people here, or like at least a group of people, perhaps just though like specifically focusing on two, because it kind of feels like there's some sort of problem up ahead, whatever that is, and it's like these two are the ones that are needing to solve it, is how that's feeling to me. there may be sort of like a disagreement, or not a disagreement, just like two different ways that these two energies would solve a problem. Because I feel like there's coming through, whoever the feminine energy is coming through as being like one who watches and waits, right? I feel like it's kind of like that energy. And this one's more of like taking action on something, or like making plans with the Father of Swords, like using all the discernment, using all the things that they know, and like making plans or like doing something like that, where this one's more just like waiting and observing and seeing how something's shifting. So I don't necessarily feel like it's a disagreement. It could just be like there are two different ways of approaching the situation. Both are needed is how it's coming through. Like both energies here are needed. I feel like this is coming through as an energy of collaboration today, working together to solve a problem on something. The next cards out you have are the Emperor, which again, there's this masculine energy, which this card talks about like standing really strong, being really firm in your actions and decisions. Because it's coming through with the masculine energy, I feel like there's somebody who's wanting to like take action on something, right? Like to move forwards, like let's face this problem head on is how it's coming through. Like it's almost like you have to go into a maze, right? Where the walls are always changing. And it's like, so there's somebody who's like, okay, let's make a plan. Let's do all these things. Let's face the problem head on. Let's like create strategy or something like that. But I feel like there's someone else who's just kind of like, I'm just going to rest instead. I'm just going to be in my little nest and take a mental vacation or physical vacation or something like that is how that's coming through. So there may be disagreements on just like how to deal with the problem, whatever that is. Like it's coming through as being sort of like the difference between action and inaction. But the Emperor's coming out here with the frog, which is interesting because I actually feel like there's some sort of like change of heart happening in the Emperor's energy, because this card talks about vulnerability to me. It also talks about like cleansing your energy, healing as well. The frog also brings in sort of like a metamorphosis, like, but there's something here about like this is a water card, but the frog to me is a very earthly energy. It's the mix between earth and water, where I feel like there's something here about like, because the frog to me represents vulnerability because of the skin, where it's like they need water in order to breathe through their skin. Otherwise, there's no exchange of energy that happens. So it's kind of coming through as being like somebody who has usually a very strong position or stance or identity or way of being or way of doing things is going through some sort of like transformation or change or vulnerability or being vulnerable. It could be that they're feeling very vulnerable, but I feel like maybe they're listening, or it does feel like they're listening, or there's been a change of heart or change of attitude or something like that is how that's coming through. I love this frog card so much. It is a balance of water and earth. the skin is such an important symbol for me personally, but it's coming through as being like the first line of defense. There's something important about that, because, or it's like, it's not quite that, but I feel like, okay, anyways, I'm going to move on. That'll come back if it's relevant. So the next couple of cards here, you have the Hanged Man and the Empress, which I'm seeing this as being sort of like the feminine energy, whoever this is, who's taking more of like a step back and rest and wait and like observe and receive kind of energy, right? Like and the way that the cards are coming out is that the frog is looking to the Empress, right? The Emperor is looking to the Empress on some sort of whatever problem this is, because it feels to me like there is some sort of movement or change happening, or that needs to happen, but there's one individual in this dynamic is choosing to take rest instead. Like sometimes just getting a good night's sleep is more important than any sort of planning or strategizing that you can do about a situation. It's coming through like that. That's this person's stance, whoever this is. Like withdrawing or retreating. Because, or like, looking at it from a different perspective. But anyways, okay, the next card out you have here is the Fly, which says a period of ill health and depression. But I'm actually getting something different here, where it's kind of like, because it's coming out here with the Seven of Pentacles, so this card talks to me about like aligning things, or like that there are a lot of steps that are needing to be taken in order to reach a goal, and it's like each step on its own perhaps doesn't necessarily seem like that big of an accomplishment, or like that big of a step, or like whatever. It doesn't feel like each thing on its own doesn't feel like a big accomplishment. I'm just going to put it like that. But when you add all of the things together, it is actually like a big jump, right? Like it's that kind of energy. So I feel like there may be somebody here who is drawing a line on something. I don't know how that relates here, but I feel so. This card was coming through with the energy of like not like somebody who's perhaps doing something with the expectation of reward, but the rewards are not always monetary. What was coming through here, it's kind of feeling like that kind of energy where it's like somebody who, and it could be a or I don't want to use the word disagreement, different viewpoints about what the successful outcome is, where maybe there was somebody who was like expecting something that doesn't feel right. That's more of the group one's energy. I feel like that's not what this is talking about. It's just coming through as being sort of like there are things that have to happen in a certain order, or like small tasks that when added up mean a lot, right? It's also coming through as like looking back at your past accomplishments and seeing how much you've grown. I feel like there's something there about that as well, because it's coming out underneath the Nine of Cups, where I feel like whoever this is talking about, especially with the Fly here, because this talks about like ill health or depression, where the Nine of Cups is coming through as being like emotional well-being. So that might be the quote unquote reward, or what was being worked on is the emotional well-being aspect of it, not the pentacles, if that makes sense. right? Feeling emotionally secure in something with the nest here. Emotionally secure and loving, because this does feel like an energy here of like the reading is about love, but there's so much more like on top of it that's like almost masking that, is how that's coming through, where this is a love reading, it feels like. It could be family related, right? Like your family, whatever that is, whatever that means to you. But it feels like that what was gained in this situation. So it could be like somebody who was in a state of ill health or depression, but is now emotionally secure, or emotionally, like there's emotional well-being within this energy from taking rest. It could be something like that, or taking time out, or being in sort of like a hanged man position, where it's actually like it's aligned a lot of things for them, is how that's coming through. What I was also getting with this fly energy is like the weather is starting to get warmer, and so today I just went outside and there was like a whole bunch of flies just like in the garden, right? Where it's like, when the weather starts to get warmer, the first things that come up, like the first insects to come back to life, are the flies. So it's actually coming through as being sort of like signs of life, right? Like signs of things returning, but there's sort of like this sort of like not dissatisfaction, like this is the first signs, where that's how it's coming through. These are the first signs, but it's not the end goal, if that makes sense. It's like it's one step. It's one step out of the whole. So it's kind of like maybe there's somebody who's not appreciating each step, where it's like there are flies out. It should be something that's like, I don't want to celebrate. That sounds like too intense of a word. But it's kind of just like recognizing it. Like the flies are back, which means the weather's getting warmer, which means there's going to be spring soon. Like that kind of energy. I feel like that's sort of like what's coming through here, is being like, there are signs of life. The first sign, or the first signs of life, might not be pleasant ones. They might not be like flowers blooming, but it's kind of like the flies are out. I don't know how else to describe that. It was also coming through here as being sort of like, because there's shifting energies happening, right? The maze is like shifting, whatever that means. It's kind of like waiting until the right sign appears, because it's like you don't want to go when the flies are doing their thing. Like that's just the first sign, if that makes sense. You have to wait until the right sign appears, is how that's coming through, or the right like energy is aligned, right? Until the walls stop moving, whatever that means. Like it's like there's something here about like waiting until the right sign. So someone here is like taking a rest. Like, I'm just gonna wait until, the other insects come out, or like the whatever that is. And the other person's trying to make plans, it seems, but it's kind of like the plans right now will not be useful, because in a couple of whatever, the walls are going to shift again. So the plans that you're making now are almost like they're not going to be useful by the time it's actually time to go, if that makes sense. So it's kind of like taking time to rest or take a time out might actually be more useful than trying to plan or whatever, because the plans are not going to be useful by the time it's time to go, if that makes sense. Okay, anyways, I don't know where that's going. So the next card here you have here is the Axe, which says forces working against you. which again is coming through, like, it's not coming through as being a discouragement, because especially with this energy here at the maze, where it's like there may be, I'm actually seeing this as being like the universe is handing you an axe, where it's like you may have to cut through some walls, metaphorically, like, because the wall shifted, because the path has shifted, the universe is giving you an axe to cut through something, is how that was coming through. So to like counteract the forces that are working against you, whatever that is. And it's also coming out underneath this, which is so interesting to me. You have here the golden egg, which is the heart chakra, and the Three of Swords underneath that, which is really interesting. This golden egg talks, it's again, more of this nesting energy. More of this nesting energy of like taking time out to like be quiet, to like sit in silence, to meditate if that's part of your practice, or just like to listen. To like listen and wait and to observe what's happening, because I feel like there's something here about like the Three of Swords. This card to me, rather than representing heartbreak, it more so represents like entanglements, like emotional entanglements, where like other people's energies might be entangled with yours, and so that causes discord, or it's like you can feel other people's energies, or like taking on other people's pains that are not yours, like that kind of thing. And like the only way to sort of work through that is to listen to your own energy, is how that's feeling to me. So it's kind of like there may be some sort of situation here, especially because it's coming out beside the Nine of Cups, is like there may be emotional entanglements with other individuals, however this relates to you, that are affecting perhaps your decision making, or could be that, like, affecting your moods, affecting your decision making. And so like the best thing that you can do in order to counteract that is to like make sure that you are, your emotional well-being, your emotional state, independently of anyone else, is secure and stable and sound. With the golden egg, like connect to your own heart and your own emotional state, because I feel like there are entanglements here. And you can only do that through rest and quiet, like even like detaching from any sort of like noise even. Anyways, the last couple of cards you have here, the Elephant, a long journey, either physical or mental, will leave you wiser at the end. So this is going to be a long journey. I feel like it's like the guidance for this case is to just like take the time to rest when you have it, is how that's coming through. With the King of Pentacles and the Justice card. So I am seeing this as being sort of like some sort of shift happening from the Three of Swords into the Justice energy, which is kind of like, I'm seeing this as like a sword coming in to like cut the cords, or like remove the entanglements, or something like that, like to detach whatever it is that is unwanted or affecting you negatively, is how I'm just gonna leave it like that. There's an energy that's coming in that to cut the cords, is how that's coming through, of unwanted entanglements. I'm just gonna leave it like that. This card with the golden egg always reassures the reading that like you and your loved ones are safe. So it's not talking about like the people that you care about. This Three of Swords is entanglements that are unwanted. And with the King of Pentacles, I feel like it's talking about like, again, more security and stability. But because it's coming through like with the Pentacles, I feel like there's going to be some sort of shift in the physical landscape and like actually doing something, like taking action in the physical. I feel like right now is not the right, like it kind of feels like there are too many things shifting. So any actions almost won't be effective until the timing is right, or until the cords are cut, whatever this is. The unwanted entanglements. I feel like though there is, it feels like there's like, this is sort of like a positive outcome is how I'm seeing this. It's a positive outcome. I'm going to leave it there. If that resonated with you, please like, subscribe, or leave a comment down below. It helps so much. Thank you for sharing your energy with me, and I hope you have a great day. Bye.